ball on the ice. Stands. We got a goal.
Oh, who's that referee?
Wes McCauley.
He needs to do WWE right now. Or at least he can start in the minors and work his way up. Because he's got a future.
All the NHL players who are like retired now was like even Colby Armstrong is the one I'm thinking of. We're like, yeah, he was my favorite like referee of all of them, just because he was so animated and he was just straight up with you. So I will tweet the video or the very quick Vine that I have of it, but it's just like after the goal in the end, we got a good goal. That's like they have shirts nowadays. They can still remember a couple years ago, Dan. He showed me this. It's like you can't do that.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, that was a good one.
So, Last Man In, episode 86.
My fives look like sixes.
We're with Dan again.
Who's
Nikita Kucherov.
Special guest host, Dan Rudy.
Guest host?
Yeah, you're not...
Yeah, special guest host now. You're on too many scouting missions.
Yeah, we gotta send you away.
We gotta tuck you
Unfortunately, guys, I do have to say...
I feel like guest host is like a promotion from where I was before.
From permanent host.
From featuring.
Yeah. Oh, now he's... See, we were talking about your featuring now.
Like the guest host.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. So, Greg set us up for... Let's tease what we're not going to talk about some more.
No, next week I will not be here, so I'll just forewarning. Next week will be the most viewed and listened to episode.
With Cam and Dan.
With Cam and Dan.
Welcome to the Cam and Dan show. The show that's not really a podcast, but it's...
We should get Carrie back.
Boom!
There you guys go.
Wait. When are we doing it? When is the game?
Oh, the game's on Wednesday. I don't really think it's a good idea for me to answer the phone while I'm in the Joe Louis Arena being like, yeah, so...
No, because you'll have an iPhone, and they don't know what that is in Detroit, because that city is bankrupt. Boom!
Well...
Come at me, Detroit!
It was a good try. We tried to get fans once, but it did not work. No, like, I have a piece of technology here that they don't know about, and it's called Samsung S6. I know a lot of people are like, S7?
I thought it was called a button-up hoodie.
I have a button-up hoodie.
No,
this is an Under Armour button-up hoodie.
That's technology they don't have either.
Yeah.
So.
How do you make a car out of that?
I don't know.
The Motor City?
Yeah, I get it.
They can't build cars either.
Wait,
bankrupt.
Cam, I have to ask you a question. Have you seen the Ghost Bear yet in person? Play. I will be able to.
Did he play earlier?
I don't know. Did he play when he was here?
That game was early, wasn't it?
Oh,
here's my question.
He might have been down in the A.
How jealous are you that I'll see Ghost Bear in the same season that I got to use Ivan Provorov's stick?
Pretty jealous. I mean, no, you'll get to see him in 53. See, me as a fan, I love Ghost Bear right now. Don't get me wrong. But, like, every time I see him, it's kind of like, can't love him as much. Don't like 53.
Oh, okay.
Not a fan. But no, he's amazing. I am jealous because that game is going, the way things are going, that's for all the marbles. Yeah. That's for, you win and you're in, baby. That's what's happening. That
Next Wednesday, Rivalry Night, NBCSN. Okay, so let's start today's show. We're going to talk about Jets, what they've done recently, as well as going over their actual probability of getting the first overall pick or even picking in that lottery section has greatly diminished with other teams doing poorly. We'll touch on that. We'll touch upon the Moose game that we went to.
Yep.
Totally went to that Moose game.
Cam and I definitely went to one last Wednesday.
We did. It was actually awesome.
Yeah, well, thanks for the invite. Then we got to hit some stuff in the
Thanks
mailbag.
for the Christmas present.
I hate you guys so much.
Okay, and then we're going to hit up the what?
We're going to hit up the mailbag for some Capitals clinching President's Trophy, Sharks clinching the playoffs. Also, Jimmy Vesey watch. The VeseyWatch 2016.
I feel like Greg just gave away two of the mailbag things right
No,
there.
we're going to talk about
He's naming everything so that, like, if we
don't
miss
forget
something,
anything.
we're in so much trouble.
And then the other thing...
One more tease. That's it. I'm allowing you one more tease.
The last tease is, will certain junior players, Ivan Provorov, join their teams for potential playoff runs? So let's get started with the Jets. What did they do last week, Cam? And I guess Dan went to a...
The night that we recorded,
I went to...
Dan was at the game. Which game?
Tuesday?
Boom.
Wow, you must go to so many that you forget them all.
Who did they
Tough.
play?
Are you serious?
Vancouver.
Oh, life is good. Life is good.
Now I knew it would come to... You know what?
Yeah, okay, fine. Now that we're doing
We got a phone call from Satellite.
I hung up. Screen me. No, we will not tease the name. Then we can't.
No, we can't.
Guest.
We can't.
We had a special guest missed call, but you'll find one day. One day this chance will come.
Yep.
And I hope it's not at the end of June, because I don't want to deal with him at the end of June. We're not teasing names. I'll show you.
Yeah. Okay, so what happened to the Vancouver game? They won?
They did. They won 2-0. Last time we checked in with the podcast, it was 1-0, so I hope they won the game or just scored again. How'd they perform?
I'm assuming good because they won.
Dan,
You
you were
don't
at
remember?
the game. Who are you?
I went to 2
Dan's
Moose
been
games
on like
and 2 Jets games.
a year-long bender.
just sounds
I don't
like
know.
It's all blur together.
It sounds like you
Especially
have
when-
the toughest life.
I think I saw Scott Kosmachuk play 4 games last week. I mean,
Oh, well then,
I'm
yeah,
just-
I wouldn't want to remember that either.
no, he actually is pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, now he's good? Oh, no, right, you don't like a LePon. Never mind, that's the
No,
guy.
I always thought Kosmachuk was kind of useless too. But
you also
But
hate
he's
cops,
okay.
so
who doesn't?
He hate cops?
he hates cop.
Oh,
Copp.
Andrew
Who
Copp?
doesn't?
I dislike him a little more after last night, but we'll lead into that. All right,
Alright,
so the
then
next game-
Thursday they played against the Kings and beat a playoff team that's leading their division 4-1
With none of their players.
with nobody playing.
That's actually a lie. Ehlers and Armia and Stewart were all back in that game.
Oh,
But-
I didn't even realize
Yeah.
Stewart was back last night. Yeah, okay. All right. And then Elos looks great in the bubble. I don't like the cage. Did not like the cage.
The bubble
The
works.
bubble looks way cooler.
It works.
But the problem with the bubble...
He has to wear it, though.
It fogs up. No. I meant like he went from a full-face visor thingy to
The
a
cage.
cage.
Oh yeah. No.
You look way cooler.
The bubble
wearing
looks
the bubble.
looked all right.
All right. And then they played the Sabres. They lost 3-2. That was on Saturday afternoon. Hudson Fashion of the Minnesota Golden Gophers. First NHL game, first NHL goal.
Nice.
Yeah. The
Good for
irrelevant fact, I was very excited when I
Very
scored.
relevant
Good for
fact.
him.
But
Yeah, super relevant fact. Last night, the Jets went to play with the big boys.
Philadelphia Flyers?
Play with the big boys, correct. Because they did. And
Who
the
won that game?
Flyers won in overtime 3-2, and I lost one of my 2 bets I made because I got cocky and I was like, I'll give you 2-goal cushion. I'll beat you by 2, no problem. They didn't beat him by 2. Now I lost
They won
my
in
bet.
overtime by
They
Claude
did.
Giroux. Now, I know we're going to talk Flyers in it later on. What happened to Claude Giroux on Saturday? Because he was
Martin
questionable to play in
He
the game.
faked the concussion.
No, he did. Oh, you monster. I'll contain myself. Martin Hansel, Giroux was about 2 feet off the boards.
Yeah.
And the standard Giroux, like in the middle of the hash marks, basically, stick handling away. Went to go turn. And basically, half numbers, half shoulders. Martin Hansel just kind of pushed him from behind. And it wasn't the hit that kind of threw him off. It was the way he landed. Because his head just kind of, bounced off the ice a bit.
I actually didn't see it. I was just.
Oh, no.
No,
yeah,
I
Martin
just saw
Hansel
it. He
got
was
pretty
hurt.
good.
I know there
I
were
saw
some
it.
people being like, "How the hell is he playing 2 days after
Okay.
being knocked out?"
See, the way I'm reacting is because
What I was.
earlier in the game, Radko Gudas, absolutely obliterated Shane Doan.
Dirtiest player in the league.
No,
by far.
he's clean player. What are you talking about?
He's been suspended 3 times this year.
Well,
He's talking about Shane Doan, right? Being dirtiest player in the league?
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Radko Gudas is
Just wanted to clarify.
let alone the charging that he totally could have got called for. Which he did not. He did not. He got charged for boarding. That's it. Hit Shane Doan. Shane Doan sliding into the boards. Gudas doesn't stop and let up. He hits him, and then he crunches his head against the boards. And then Doan goes to get up and fell backwards, and his eyes
Oh,
were
that
rolling.
looked awful.
Both of them, Gudas and Hansel, got away with nothing. No disciplinary action. I was like, oh, we starting this PK Subban hand slash thing again? Right into
Wait.
playoffs.
Here's the different
Good.
thing. PK Subban, very talented hockey player. Radko Gudas is useless.
Radko Gudas is great. He's putting up career
useless.
numbers.
You
Well, I'm
just
sorry.
finished
Career
saying...
numbers. He played more than 5 games.
You just finished saying, before we started the podcast, who's going to log minutes on the blue line for Philadelphia? Because we know it can't be Radko Gudas.
Yeah, it's going to be a
terrible.
group option. We're rotating in everyone. We're not line shadowing
You
anyone.
have to essentially run 7 deep to hide the fact you have Radko Gudas.
And we will be running 7D. We will lead into that later, Gregory.
Okay, we will. So, right now, as it stands, with about 7 games left on the season, the Jets are 6th in the overall league. Or 6th worst.
Yeah.
Yes, 6th worst.
So
They're 6th for Austin.
I thought
They're
they were
6th
5th.
for
I
us.
thought they were.
No,
I thought
Columbus,
they were 3rd, to be honest.
but Well, no, because
Columbus,
Vancouver,
Vancouver, Edmonton, Toronto.
Calgary.
No, Calgary's ahead of us.
Calgary.
They're ahead of us.
No,
Calgary.
like Calgary is like worse than us.
No.
Calgary
better than us.
is worse than us.
No, not.
Yes,
Are they?
Probably not.
Well, hey,
They're
we're gonna
not. They won
preemptively do
last
this.
night. I'm pretty sure they're not.
God damn it, Calgary, stop winning. Okay,
No, Calgary, keep winning.
While you do that, Dustin Byfuglien is the Jets nominee for the Bill Masterton
I saw that, yes.
for the Bill Masterton Award, which is for exemplary attributes in perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to the sport. And Tyler Myers has been shut down for the season. I don't know if this happened last week or not, but he had surgery on his knee, and he's going to have surgery on his hip. Go ahead, Greg. What do you got?
No, I was...
Oh, you're trying to catch signals.
Oh, I'm sorry. Daniel is right. They are fifth worst. However, the second worst team is Edmonton. And by no means is anyone catching Edmonton, because they are finishing last. Because they cannot buy a win. So we have to come to the realization now that most likely Winnipeg is going to be picking either 5th or 6th. Most likely.
The draft lottery means very little this year. You only get a 25% chance if you finish dead last.
But
to get one of the top 3 picks.
I know. Well, if you don't get number 1, you've got like a 20% chance on landing the other 2, and that's it, or something like that.
Well, hey, let's set our hopes on wherever the Jets
5 or
finish.
6.
They're getting that 5. Matthew Tkachuk.
You have to also keep in
potentially.
mind. You have to keep in mind though that they're only 2 points away from being 29th right now.
However, you look at how many games Edmonton has to play still.
That's true. They're at
And Toronto has started to suck again. Yeah, Edmonton only has 5 games left this season, so their games are spread out, which means
they have 3 games left this season.
They're at 79. They have 3.
Yes.
Oh, they have 3. So we have 5 then? No, we have So they have 4 more
Jets
games.
have
played.
6.
Oh my goodness.
They've played 79 games. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and they're that bad.
Nobody else has even played 77 games.
I know.
Oh, they suck.
It was, I think, to give Edmonton fans hope. The NHL was like, here you go. You're going to play more games than everyone else in the NHL. So when it comes time for April, it's going to seem like you have a playoff shot. And then everyone else is going to springboard ahead of you. But instead, it's... You're just in dead last. Okay. Is Matthew Tkachuk going to be there at 5? Because realistically, the guys
1, 2, 3 is a lock.
1, 2, 3 is a lock. Then you got Tkachuk, Dubois, Nylander, Chychrun, and that other defenseman.
Oli Juolevi.
All kind of meshed together.
It just depends on teams' needs.
Is it? But I thought it was draft best player available. Not what you need.
After the top
How
3.
is that?
After the top 3, it's teams' needs.
Okay.
How has treated drafting the top player gone for Edmonton?
Not very well.
Very bad.
Yes. But that's also because they can't pick anything after the first round.
Can they somehow rig the draft so Ed Money gets 5th?
They could. Well,
The
depends
best
where
that
they
would be
finish.
for them is if they drop out and get 3rd or something. No.
They
can't
need
drop
a
below 3rd.
defenseman.
They can't drop below 3rd, right?
Well, if they finish in last, the worst they can do is 4th.
Yeah.
Fine, give him 4th. Give him Chychrun. Just don't even let him do the draft. Just be and Edmonton Oilers, you will be picking Jacob Chychrun, Sarnia Sting. Here you go, that's him. And piss off, please. Goodbye.
Over Juolevi?
It's Edmonton. They're probably gonna go
with the
Chychrun.
Canadian
Do
guy.
you think if Edmonton for whatever reason gets the 1st or 2nd pick, would they consider moving down for a good defenseman?
Yes.
Plus,
yeah.
Hypothetically, if the Jets, if Edmonton,
There's a lot of talk
if
about this.
Edmonton finished last if Edmonton had the 1st pick, and the Jets said we'll give you our 1st plus Jacob Trouba,
I think
do you
that's too
think
much.
they would consider it?
They would. I think
Wait,
they would 100%.
What are the Jets getting?
Austin Matthews.
And where did we
Austin
finish?
Matthews.
Where did we finish?
It doesn't matter.
Outside the top 5,
Outside
6th.
5 or 6,
So
whatever
we
you
give
want,
Trouba and our 6th for 1st?
Yeah.
That's not enough.
or just
That's
don't
not.
think- you
oh,
don't think so?
It's Austin. It's a number 1 pick.
But here you go. There's their defensive core for the next 10 years. Either Juolevi, Chychrun, Nurse, and Trouba.
I think this deal that would have to be contingent on the Jets getting Travis Hamonic, because if they're not, then they're not getting rid of one of the 3 guys.
Hold on.
And that
It's
deal,
Austin Matthews though.
yeah, but
It's Austin
You
Matthews,
need
though.
defense when you have a Crosby. Well, maybe not Crosby, but when
When you have a
like
Patrick Kane.
No, not even. He's apparently
You look
his
at the
direct comparable. Apparently is Eichel, and I'm like, well, that doesn't give us much.
you look at the Jets' defensive numbers; they can't afford to just give away defensemen.
This is
let
true.
alone a top 4 defenseman.
Okay. But let's go back to the question at hand. If you're Winnipeg, and you're out of the top 3, we'll say, and you're picking 5. So let's say the top 4 picks are Matthews, the two Finns,
Patrick Laine. Yes,
Laine and Puljujarvi, and Tkachuk. Who do you draft at 5?
Me? Honestly?
Yeah.
Chychrun.
You go Chychrun?
I'm doing Chychrun again. There's nothing wrong with D.
Nothing wrong with
And
D.
then it gives you backup plan of, hey, maybe, oh, yeah, that gives you like 4 days, 5 days. Maybe contract talks aren't doing so great with Jacob.
Well,
Trouba.
and I wanted to talk about Jacob Trouba.
You take Chychrun, just hypothetically. You take Chychrun. He might not be ready next year. Might not be. But at least potentially you have a fallback plan. Because you still have, even take Trouba out, that's still a pretty solid top 3 in Enstrom, Myers, and Buff. Even 2 of those, that's great. Sorry, Dan, I keep touching his toe. But, yeah. But that's still a solid.
Things are getting weird.
So, 5th, if I'm Jets, I know you want Chychrun, or even, maybe it's a bit of a stretch, but you need some right wingers now because their left wingers are pretty solid, and Kyle Connor coming up, and Ehlers, and who else is the left wing? Doesn't matter. Julian Gauthier. That'd be another one I'd
if
say.
you look at
That's a little bit high, but they've done it before with Scheif, so
if you look at the depth chart, though, I think...
Our wingers are...
Honestly, not Mark Scheifele. I was going to say either or, but honestly, Brian Little will probably go back to the wing. Because there's no room
to play on the right side.
Yeah.
Because that would be even more reason to get Austin Matthews and trade Jacob Trouba. That'd be sweet, though. I want to see Little, wherever he does great. He does what's expected even more. But he already know, like, when you're a winger, it's, oh, God, I hate playing center in beer league. I mean, I suck at taking face-off, but, like, your responsibility is so much more.
But here's the great thing about if you have, like, let's say, Brian Little on the same line is, who are we going to play as our second-line center? Let's say Scheifele's first-line center. Who's second-line center?
Well, I guess hypothetically it's
could be
Lowry or Perreault or...
Oh, if we don't get Matthews?
God
damn.
Okay, if you move Little to the wing, who
Connor.
is replacing him at center?
Connor's left wing.
Left wing.
Yeah. Damn it. You can't put him
No, then
you need him.
If you don't have a center.
Unless they draft Austin Matthews, I think Little's a second line center.
Yes.
Okay. Because you still have Perreault, Stafford.
But then are you going to
those
run?
Guys that need a...
Oh, wait. So what's your second line then? If you got Scheif's, Ehlers, Wheeler.
Little, Connor, Stafford, or Perreault.
That's not... But you can't put Perreault there because then look at this... Like,
okay, fine.
I know the size.
Line 3, you can put Patan, Perreault, and... I don't know. Lowry.
Oh, yeah, because you need to offset that size.
Vermeestrov. I don't know.
You just said Burmese going to be on the next
year. They're not going to... No one's going to take that sack of crap.
To be honest, the bottom 9 for Winnipeg next year, because we know that Ehlers, Scheifele, and Wheeler are their top line. And they're a competitive top line in the NHL.
Yeah. Were they good last night? Because Twitter was like raving about how good they were last night.
Here's the thing. Is since Winnipeg has gotten back to us, since we gotten the Jets back, we've been wanting a top line, right? And, like, little lad Wheeler, they weren't what this is going to be, right? They're not that same level.
They saw, you know what? I'd still take a Couturier, but that's just because my super incredible bias and
Yeah.
But Scheifele coming around. Like, his goal yesterday, I mean, it was most people
25 on the
put
season.
that in. Yeah,
right now.
There you go.
So, we'll get to contracts in a second. For the bottom 9, where everyone else fits in, because if we're bringing Connor up, we might have LePon or Lemieux there. There's going to be Armia. There's going to be Lowry. There's going to be so much competition for that bottom 9. I say the only guys that have like guaranteed spots are going to be Perreault and Little. Everyone else, it's an all-out battle.
How dare you?
Stafford.
Go and Stafford. Sorry,
How dare
I forgot
you not
Stafford.
put that on Chris Moneymaker Thorburn? He's playing because his contract is done next year.
But he might be the odd guy out.
I hope he's the odd guy. Of course, I'd be kidding.
He might be
I don't want to be.
Isn't this a good situation? Like,
it's a great situation. You want a situation.
And that really like solidifies your point of why not draft Chychrun there. Because they could get another throw-in guy, like they could go after a small guy, but I doubt they will in Nylander. Do they want a guy like Dubois, Pierre-Luc Dubois? Do they want to go Julien Gauthier? Or are they going to go and get one of the defensemen? Or do they move the pick to move down?
I forget.
Which I doubt they would.
I forget which GM said this at the draft a couple years ago, but he said, see, here's my counter-argument to my own argument, would be you can always find a useful defenseman. You can't always... You can always buy a useful defenseman. you can't necessarily buy an elite forward.
It's tough.
So that's my counter argument. I still think the safe bet, especially if he's there, Chychrun. I mean, drafting. How many times have they drafted? I think last year was the first year, and like
they didn't draft a Canadian. You mean?
No, I was gonna say D, but they only drafted 2 D back to back in round 1. That was Morrissey or Trouba then Morrissey, right?
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's it.
All right, but nothing's wrong with drafting D, but nothing's wrong with drafting
Clearly,
forward either. But
whoever they draft, they know is going to be there eventually.
they have the. Now it's like it's really weird how like back when Chicago was developing, it's like no, we have time for you to develop.
Yeah.
Now suddenly the Jets, they kind of do. They have kind of bought themselves time for guys to develop. Like, I mean, the counter, or I guess Kyle Connor, pretty much going to be signed on the Jets. I'm going to say next year. Like, I can't, maybe.
If he doesn't play Jets, like we discussed it, like he'll have the option, do you want to go back and play college or go to the AHL? Which I wouldn't be surprised if that's where he starts the season, is let's play in the AHL to start. We're going to give other guys a chance.
Yeah.
But
earn your
if
spot,
he
man,
is as good as everyone is saying, and is what I've seen, it's fucking Boston. Good job. Thank you for letting him slide to us. Thank you, Islanders, for picking Barzal over Connor.
Dude, Boston. Oh,
Boston
God.
had 3 chances.
Let me just name. I'm just going to name 2 out of the 3 that you could have drafted that you didn't. Kyle Connor.
Barzal.
Travis Konechny.
Oh, Konechny.
Are you shitting me?
Yeah.
What? Like,
But
God.
a lot of people pass on Konechny.
Man, I know, like, when Konechny started, I saw the Sens were going to draft Konechny, and then the Flyers made the pick
Same
with
with
the
Ghost
Leafs,
Bear.
and I was texting, because I wasn't near TV,
Yeah.
so I was texting a friend of mine, like, hey, have the Flyers, like, done anything? He's like, there's a trade, Flyers. He's like, Konechny's on the board, because I was telling him, like, dude, if Konechny slips, would not surprise me if Flyers took him. And he's like, Flyers drafted your guy, and I'm like, Travis Konechny! I'm just very excited. Go.
Okay, so now pushing to contract talks. I think at the beginning of the year this year, we were talking about how Jacob Trouba is going to go get the long-term deal or a bridge deal, and he was going to be worth a lot of money. Has that flipped to now Scheifele's probably going to get the more money or the bridge deal? Like, he's either going to get the $5 million over 2 years and then see what you do after that. Right now, Trouba's numbers are getting worse, points-wise, than what Oleman has done, and Oleman is getting paid. We already know what his contract is, 4.25 for the next 6 years.
Yeah.
Which is, like, perfect. If they could... No, you don't think so?
No, it's a great contract. I'm just like, I don't like the precedents that like one contract will set, and then because it's like different league, but like Ryan Tannehill's contract.
Oh yeah.
Russell Wilson should go up and give Ryan Tannehill the biggest hug, because the moment Ryan Tannehill got, I think it was like $22 million a year, something weird, whatever it was like he hadn't done anything, and Russell Wilson had already gone to 2 Super Bowls in the 3 years, and so Ryan Tannehill's agent fucked the Seahawks. Like that's what he did. He's like, oh, the ownership group of the Seahawks. That's for you, as he's walking away, like flipping the bird. So I just don't like the precedents and stuff, but that money is perfect. I'm okay with Trouba getting 4.
Yeah.
4?
There's
4.5 even? That's fine.
There's also no consistency in contracts.
No,
that's what I'm getting at.
Because Dougie Hamilton got $6 million, and he's exactly the same kind of player as these 2 guys.
And then you got guys.
5.
You guys.
Okay, sorry. He got an extra almost $2 million.
And then you look at like guys like Duncan Keith, when they sign their contract, the GM's just like, well, I guess I'll commit to you. And then like when he does good, the GM's like,
I look amazing.
Look at me.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the Trouba contract?
I think it's flipped.
Or a few
how much?
I would not be surprised if Scheifele gets a 5-year deal.
$6 million
Between 5 and 6 a year. I would not
when
be
you
surprised.
said 5 right off the hop, the number that flashed in my head for some reason was 575. Like right off the hop, I'm like 575.
Because I mean, if you sign him for 5, he's what? He's 22 right now.
Yeah.
He's then he'll be 27. He can still cash in 5 years.
Oh god, that's good. That contract.
You know.
If he continues to progress, that contract.
And in 5 years, if
$8 million.
8, probably like 9 on inflation.
5 years, it could be his team.
Yeah.
If Wheeler's still around or not, you never know. But
because
Wheeler's here for 3 more years.
Yeah, it's definitely Well, Wheeler's probably going to retire a Jet. Let's be real. He loves it here.
If he loves it here, but if they don't start winning, that might
He
change.
did say some real weird comments after a few games this week.
Well,
where
he
he's
said he was tired of losing.
Yeah.
I guess that's not
I
a
don't
weird
really blame
comment,
him.
but like he does take full blame for everything all the time.
But here's the thing. Like,
And he's in his prime
you look
now.
at the Central Division, and I know we bring this up a lot. They have 6 teams competing for playoff spot. The 3 Pacific teams have already clinched a playoff spot. I think LA punched their ticket into the playoffs before Washington, or just like 2 games after Washington with 20 less points. Because that's how bad the Pacific Division is. Like,
Yeah. There's nothing to say. It's true. Like it's so
To
bad.
your Wheeler
6
comments though,
Central teams.
like you have to think about him. He committed 6 years to the Jets because he likes it here. He believes that they can win. But you have to think about it. Look at how much money he's making. Look at
Not
how
a
much
lot.
money he could be making.
Like 7
He's
and a half.
he's a top 10 scorer in the league, and he's making $5.75.
Well, maybe he'll get that extra.
So you don't
money
think
when
maybe he's-
an all-star? But
but-
until I'm just fucking.
But don't you think he's kind of going? I committed to you guys, and I gave you guys a pretty damn good deal, and
You're
I'm
giving me
Where's
shit.
that extra paper going, sir?
Well,
like, where?
I want playoff games.
And then Dustin
I don't
Buffalo's
think
like,
he-
step aside, Blake. I believe I have a meeting with Mr. Chipman.
I don't think he's the kind of player that cares how much money he makes, but he wants to win.
yeah,
Obviously,
I think every
the
player
competitive
does.
drive
Yeah.
is him is
So,
insane.
I
It's
mean,
awesome.
Now, shifting gears to the Moose.
Yeah.
How was that Moose game we went to on Saturday, guys?
It's pretty awesome. Well, the game on Wednesday, the Jet that Dan and I were both at, Jets won 3-2 over the Stockton Heat. By the way, Stockton, surprisingly, I can name like so many guys. I'm like, wait, that guy's here too? Dang! Like so
they
many
were
guys.
a rough bunch of guys.
Rough and tumble.
Yeah.
I saw probably one of the worst hockey fights I've ever seen. Man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the one guy grabbed him and then he shot at him once, and then the other guy like essentially was like, "No, don't hit me." The first one really hurt.
Yeah.
Why did I get hit? Like that's how it was. It was
terrible.
It was a bad fight, but it was a Franco-Manitoban night, so like French Manitoba French night.
Yeah.
So everything was announced like first in English and French. So it was okay. It was all right. There's a bunch of people around me. I just gotta say, the lady in front of me, she had a kid. He was awesome. He kept like waving and whatnot, like covering his eyes and like laughing and whatnot. But she brought her own like homemade oatmeal bars, and she made homemade Nutella.
They let her bring it in.
I don't know how she brought it in, and then she had her own. It was a big ass bag of popcorn, like in a plastic bag.
What?
Yeah, it was crazy. And I'm like, wait, can you bring treats to your seats at the MTS Center?
That's really
Treats
odd.
and seats at the MTS Center. I was just like, what? Like she kept pulling out like, I think I'm just gonna say I have a kid, bring a big ass like baby bag and have treats in it. Cause like, are you kidding me? It was crazy.
Big
Yeah,
ass
done.
bag of treats.
big
Well
ass bag for treats
done.
and seats.
So, what happened Saturday? They had awesome autism jerseys.
Those are nice.
For autism awareness, they
Yes.
were beautiful. Yeah, they were like puzzled. I will tweet a picture of that actually. I'll write it down.
You didn't take a picture while we were at the game? Because I know I did.
I was told by my reporter in the field that was at the game that Dancing Gabe dropped the puck.
Yep.
So that was nice.
That would be because his mother passed away.
And he
earlier.
also has autism.
Oh,
Yes.
well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he's got his own bobblehead night at
Gold
the
Ice.
Winnipeg Gold Ice.
Yep.
For those who don't know, that is a ball.
And I really, really hope
No, that's
a-
independent.
Independent
Single
baseball.
A ball.
Yeah, an independent single A
it
baseball.
would be very nice if that petition to get him into NHL 17 worked.
Oh,
Yeah.
I guess
that's
we'll
awesome.
find out.
If you don't know who Dancing Gabe
But-
is there a YouTube video I could like?
Oh,
Yeah?
for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right.
He's
sure.
essentially our mascot that the city loves because
He
he would go to every single Jets game back in the 90s, and when music started to play, he started to dance along to it, and it's just been a phenomenon at every single sporting event.
He's
for
at every
years.
every Blue Bomber game, every Gold Ice game, every Moose game, every Jets game.
He lives and breathes sports.
It's fantastic.
And-
Winnipeg sports. Yeah.
Yeah. So
He symbolizes, I guess the. I don't know the average Winnipegger per se, and
For
our
any-
passion for sports.
For anyone that listens to, there's a book that they just wrote about him. That's how I actually found out that he does have autism, because I never knew.
Yeah, me neither.
But go and buy if you live in Winnipeg or you can get access to the book, go and buy it, because money from that book goes towards
Autism
Jets
awareness
Foundation,
and
the Bombers
Yeah.
Foundation, autism.
Oh, that's-
so
yeah.
lots of good stuff. So,
He's awesome.
He is awesome.
You don't fuck with Dancing Gabe. Actually, quick story about that. My dad went to the 2007 Grey Cup in Toronto when the Riders were playing the Bombers, and Dancing Gabe got tickets. Like the city got him tickets, or however, he came across tickets, and he was there at the game, and he's sitting a couple rows in front of my dad. Eat the candy. You're just gonna play with the plastic bag. Yeah. So my dad was like, Dancing Gabe was like about 10, 15 rows up with his brother, and I guess some guys were heckling Gabe and his brother, and they weren't really doing anything about it, just because, like, what are you going to do? And then my dad said 4 of the biggest guys he's ever seen in his entire life were in Bomber stuff. Walked down, tapped Gabe and his brother on the shoulders, and just showed him, like, just go for a walk for a second. We'll take care of these guys. And then apparently they just tore a strip off these guys and was like, if we hear or see that you're doing anything to Gabe, you're not going to walk home this evening. So just to let you know. And then they walked away, and my dad said those guys had the fear of God in their eyes for the rest of the evening. They did not even look at Gabe and his brother again. So he's a very important Winnipeg personality.
Oh, for sure.
But anyways, moving on. We're going into this mailbag. Opening the bag of mail.
For those who haven't been able to tell the sarcasm, we didn't end up going to the Moose game.
Greg is a shirker. You shirk. You ruined Christmas from us. I could have called it. You're a monster. And by the way,
I didn't realize I had a playoff game that night for my beer league team. And
did you win at least?
Yes.
Good. You better win the championship.
Well, I won't be there for 2 weeks.
He didn't know, yet he conveniently didn't buy tickets.
But that was because I didn't know when my playoffs were.
Shirker. Shirking. You're a monster.
Not a monster at all.
You're a monster.
This is going to be like the never-ending, we never get a Christmas present.
No, we're getting Christmas presents next year. That's what we're getting.
You get a year backwards.
We get 2 next year.
Yeah, backsies. Double backsies.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
we don't get 2.
Greg pays for our gifts for everyone, too.
I buy myself a gift.
He's buying himself like a Slurpee. He's like, oh, thanks for Christmas.
No, he's buying my gift for you and your gift for me.
Oh.
As well as his gifts for both of us.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, you mentioned it a little earlier, but the Caps clinched the President's Trophy. Do you think the Caps have what it takes to win the Stanley Cup?
Why not?
Dan.
Yes.
Okay.
Elaborate? Is that what you're asking?
I was going to lead into it. I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
Can you name the 8 teams who have won the President's Trophy and Stanley Cup? One of them very recent.
Detroit Red Wings.
Even recenter.
Chicago Blackhawks?
2013.
Okay. So, because they started that year. They were like 22-0.
There's only 8 teams ever, and it only started in 1987.
So
Chicago.
Oh shit! Well, I just gave one.
Chicago, Detroit.
Yeah, Chicago,
Edmonton.
Detroit did. Okay, so Chicago in 2013.
No,
Detroit,
Islanders didn't win back then.
Okay, so
that was 70s.
It's Hawks in 13, Detroit in 08, Detroit in 02.
I wanted to guess more.
I'm naming the years when you name them.
Okay. Dallas?
Correct, in 1999.
New Jersey?
Nope.
Colorado Avalanche?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 2001. So there's 3 more teams, and they're 3 separate teams.
Pittsburgh?
Nope.
New Jersey Devils?
Nope.
No, you already said.
No for Montreal
Rangers.
and no for Jersey.
Tampa Bay Lightning?
94 Rangers, correct.
2004 Tampa Bay Lightning?
No, you're going backwards. Like you're done all the other ones. So the last one was 94 Rangers. There's
the
only
1989 Calgary Flames?
Correct. And one more.
1987 Edmonton Oilers.
Correct. And I just want to make a note that the 94 Rangers were like just an older version of the 87 Oilers. So we all knew this, though.
Yeah.
They literally bought Edmonton. It was baffling. When you look at that, like, I didn't know that, but like when you look at the rosters, it's like almost half the team is the same. Like from Edmonton. I'm like, oh, so that's why the Rangers won. They're like, we need to end this cup drought. Please, everyone. Edmonton, please come in.
The only guy they didn't have was Gretzky, right?
Essentially, out of the core, yeah. I know there's like an older listener or someone. If there are, they're yelling right now because I have no idea. But I know essentially out of the core is just Gretzky. Speaking of Gretzky, did you see what the Great One did last Friday in Las Vegas?
Gave Bieber a jersey, and he looked like a loser.
Oh my God! Could there be a worse meeting of 2 people? I don't know.
I like Wayne Gretzky, but it's not that I hate Justin Bieber. He just, what's up with his hairdo? What is up with his hairdo?
He's Biebs, I don't know. He does what he wants.
I know. I just wish I had that much money that I didn't have to care about.
He goes skating after a Winnipeg Jets game because he can.
Yeah.
Did you guys... Okay, I got this pointed out to me by a friend of mine who's Swedish. He said when I came here, the song like that was famous. Like when he just came over here, the song of like the hot song was "Sorry" by Justin Bieber, and he's like, I couldn't help but laugh every time it came on. He's like, how funny is it that a Canadian icon has a song called "Sorry"?
Oh, that is
Is it
kind of
too
funny.
late to say I'm sorry?
Just one.
Screw
just
you
one
guys. You guys know the
episode.
word.
I have to ask
Just
you a
one
question.
Go.
Is he technically a Winnipegger?
Kind of.
No,
Or is he
his
considered?
dad lives
or
in
is he
Winnipeg.
considered? He grew up here, apparently. That's what I've been
What? All
told.
the YouTube videos show him in like Brampton, Ontario,
Okay,
or wherever he's from.
but he grew up here partially because his dad lives
When he
here.
was like 3 or
So
4.
I'm wondering. Okay, because I've heard people say
Dan,
he's a Winnipegger, and I've heard people say he's not a Winnipegger.
Don't let us
Is he
lay
a
claim
Winnipegger?
to Bieber, please.
Are you just
I
saying that
don't
'cause
want
I don't
him.
want to fight
I
this
don't want
fight.
him.
I want honest answer.
I don't want him.
Okay, no, hold on.
I don't want him.
Okay, I get it, Greg, but what? How long do you have to live somewhere when you're younger before? Because you don't really.
I want to start yelling before we
Okay,
complete this
hold
conversation.
on. No, but when you're younger,
I don't care.
Your memory
I don't
doesn't
care.
really
This
click
isn't
in
about
until
hockey.
you're what, like
I do
5?
not want to talk about
Dan,
Justin
do you
Bieber.
remember being
No.
in that photo?
No.
That photo taken right there. Do you remember that photo being taken?
Yes, I was like 12.
Damn it, never mind. I'm not good with ages. I'm
Okay.
so bad.
Can we not? Let's talk hockey.
Okay. Well, the
San
only-
Jose Sharks clinching a playoff berth. Were you, despite the fact how bad their division was, are you surprised with the turnaround they had from last season?
Not at all. Mainly because, well, Brent Burns is awesome. He's really come to emergence. He's taken so many shots. Like, I think I have a stat on it. I'm going to try and pull it up. But just to let you know, please, if anyone is or did go to San Jose Brent Burns Chia Night, please let me know.
I want a chia pet.
I will show you a picture because I managed to get a hold of it.
There's
and
no
I will be
mention of-
tweeting this picture. Are you joking me?
Did you get a hold of it?
No, I
the
wish
picture.
that's a picture.
There's no mention of Winnipeg on Justin Bieber's Wikipedia.
I don't care.
Boom.
Good. Thank God.
Exempt.
All right.
So there goes Brent Burns
What?
Chia head. Nice. Yeah.
All right.
Have you seen his stats for the year?
Crazy. Greg wants to talk. Go.
Martin Jones, has he been the difference maker?
Oh
because
my goodness.
of
Yeah.
the fact that they got rid of Niemi, who had been a proven goalie, for a guy that was a backup. You know, this doesn't always work. Jonathan Bernier went to Toronto. It didn't really work. Talbot went to the Oilers. That's not working. Jones goes to San Jose. What's the difference there? And they also got rid of their head coach.
Change the scenery. Change everything. Change the mentality. It's just a whole new regime coming in, and it might be. I don't want to say this is it, just because Sharks are a great team anyways, but Colorado, the first year they had Patrick Roy, look how good they did, right? It's just,
Yeah.
you have to prove yourself because everyone's kind of fighting for a job, even though you're all on contracts, but you still have to earn your ice and all that. So
That's fair.
maybe that's another big turnaround. And here's a stat I got for Brent Burns. Brent Burns has a whopping 324 shots on goal this season. Most by a Sharks player in a season, and also third most by a defenseman in the NHL since 1996-97.
Let me guess. That was a Ray Bork or Paul Coffey?
I don't know. It doesn't say who the
okay.
other ones are, but my guess is going to be Bork, Coffee,
Or
not since 96-97.
oh, since then.
So we're just trying to find the other two. So
Wait, like Scott Niedermayer,
yeah, that's a great pick.
Al McInnes.
Maybe even as weird as this sounds, potentially Mike Green the year that he put up 30, just because you're
Yep.
firing everything.
Well, like Brent Burns is what, 27 right now?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would guess he's.
So
He's got
obviously,
26 goals.
okay, obviously it's working out in San Jose, which is great.
Yes.
What can teams like that? Because last year they missed the playoffs, which was a down year for them. Teams that miss the playoffs one year and then go back the next year, kind of like what Boston did, and we've seen other teams do this. What does it take? Does it take changing coaches? Does it take changing goaltenders, big position
I
players?
would say the biggest change for me from like going to a down year to a solid year with pretty much the same people, honestly, coach.
And
makes
well, it's happened with Philadelphia this year as well.
Yeah, Dave Haxtell. And it's like standard Dave Haxtell. I guess this is just my hockey knowledge, but he's always been known to have a slow starting team, like not really superstars or anything. I'm not saying Giroux, like Giroux's a superstar, but I'm saying like in college, they're not expected to do good, but then they just go on this late season surge. Flyers are 10-4-2 in their last 16 games.
Yeah.
So I would say that's pretty much a surge right there, and they're doing good. So, yeah.
Cannot
To
find
answer
anything
my
about shots for defense.
to answer your question, my guess would be a coach for the biggest turnaround.
Okay.
But a goalie would be huge too, because when you have a bad goalie, I don't want Jets. You're gripping your stick a little
Yeah.
harder, right?
Yeah.
We've talked about
Very
this.
true.
Dan, what do you think the biggest turnaround would be? in like from having a bad season to a good season.
Has the change in leadership also affected
Like
San Jose?
I don't think
like
so.
one
It's the same group.
singular person change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like if what would be the biggest in your mind that like has a biggest effect, like coach?
Because
goalie?
clearly it hasn't worked in Edmonton at all. Period. Whatever they've tried to do hasn't
We've
worked.
talked about this. Take 3 of them and then piss off.
It depends though. I'd say goalie if you're gonna get a world class goalie. If you're gonna get another average goalie, then it makes no difference.
But Jones isn't really. He's good, but he's not world class.
He didn't make the World Cup team.
Edmonton went from who's the guy who plays in Minnesota? Dubnyk to Talbot, and they still suck.
Neither of
They
them.
got
got
a
a
new
new
coach.
They got a new coach.
Well, there goes
They're
my
still
argument.
terrible.
No, I know.
So
That's
that's
what
like,
I'm saying. Like,
it's situation
It's
specific.
Wizardry.
If you get Jonathan Quick, absolutely goalie. If you get Andre Pavlik, you're probably not going to be much better. Just saying.
it's true. But look at the change that Paul Maurice put into the Jets. I don't know what's going on in Edmonton. Why McCullough can't get the most out of his players, but
Maybe I'll say goalie because look at Montreal. You take away Carey Price, that team's garbage.
That is a
Garbage.
huge
And
thing.
I always said that if they didn't have him, they'd be a lot worse.
I'm finding that out now.
Yep.
God damn.
So maybe it is a goalie.
Can they get Austin?
no. Well, they
They
could
can.
technically.
Anybody
Okay,
that,
no,
anybody
I'm
that misses
talking
the
like
playoffs.
bottom
anybody
three.
that doesn't
No,
make the
they
playoffs can get a
Okay,
top
no,
three
I'm
pick.
talking like bottom 3. Like,
No.
Oh, probably not.
okay, good.
Okay. Changing
Oh,
gears. Oh, okay,
Before just Montreal's on dock. So all Canadian teams are officially eliminated from the playoffs. The only time since 1917 that there were no Canadian teams in the NHL playoffs was since the emergence 69-70 when Montreal and Toronto missed. Wow, we suck.
A lot tougher when there's 7 teams.
But we already know who our
Yeah.
team is.
Goddamn rights.
Florida.
Kevin Spacey. Space.
Florida
Spacing space.
Panthers
Yeah, hell yeah.
until they play Washington, and then I gotta go
Nope.
Washington.
I'm going Florida.
See,
I'm going
Ovi for
whoever
a
wins
cup.
the series. How about that?
I'm
Yeah.
going Ovi wins. Ovi wins.
You're
cup.
ending it.
Yager wins a cup.
That'd be nice too. He
Hey,
wouldn't
can we
retire.
preemptively get send me some ideas for, because I'm doing a playoff beard and whatnot, and if I pick Ovi, I need a good one. I'm thinking Ovi so it's over? Like the argument with Sid.
No. That's
Growy
not
for
good.
Ovi? No.
Well, Granlund's already got it. He's punched his ticket. Grow for Granlund. Take a trace his return.
Minnesota's not in the
They're
playoffs.
not.
Oh,
the
hell
playoffs.
yeah, they're going to make the playoff. Hell yeah, they're going to make...
Colorado
It
is
ain't
on
over
their
till it's
heels.
over.
They haven't punched their ticket yet.
Colorado is on their heels. And
Okay,
they're going to catch
Granlund knows Cammy wants a playoff beard, so he knows that he's going to make it.
them. Okay. But don't you have like a Giroux one or a Voracek one?
They haven't come out. I just go off what the team says.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And all of them have playoff beards right now, or they're growing their beards. I'm not a fan of people who like go in with Giroux sportsman year round, but like I like when you clean shave and go into
And
the
then go in the
playoffs.
playoffs.
That's how you're supposed to do it.
I know. Well, tell that to Thorburn last year. Didn't grow that in 2
He
years.
knew they weren't going to be there very long.
I know. That's just being mean. Are we
That
gonna
was a
talk about?
really loud yump.
We did. Are we going to talk about the Frozen Four?
Yum.
I actually want to talk about
Go.
a different college player first.
Okay.
Jimmy Vesey. And Vesey Gate 2016.
Enough Gates.
VeseyWatch.
Shanahan and Gates. No.
VeseyWatch?
No.
Where
Watch
did
is
the
fine.
gate come
No
from?
Gate.
Why is it a gate?
Watergate.
Watergate,
From
which is like
Richard
Nixon.
Nixon.
Yeah.
Because Watergate was a hotel across the street from where that lady called in because she thought people were breaking in, but it was Richard Nixon's people like looking up files illegally, and then he had to. He's the only president to
Step
resign
down.
or step down. Who filled in? This isn't a quiz. I want.
I
to know
don't
the answer.
remember.
I don't know.
I don't know.
So any
Someone's yelling at
conspiracy,
their thing right now.
any conspiracy, you just put gate behind it now.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, that's it. It's garbage. It's a lazy way of doing it.
Oiler
Okay.
gate.
VeseyWatch. Jimmy Vesey.
Oiler
So,
gate.
no.
Tell us about Jimmy Vesey. Who is he?
He is a senior forward for the Harvard, and he was drafted by Nashville. But as we all know, once a certain time lapses after your draft year,
Once your season ends.
once your season ends, you then become a free agent if you do not sign.
Correct.
So Poyle, who is the GM for Nashville, has been contacting Vesey a lot over the last little bit, trying to get him to sign with the Nashville Predators. It seems more and more likely that Vesey will not go with the Predators. Now with Harvard being done for the year, not in the Frozen Four, there's definitely a situation on his hands because I don't think he even went forward with Nashville. I don't think he can sign there. Like, he can still. But I think he's
He
officially
can
a free
right
agent.
now, but if he wants to become officially a free agent, he has to wait till July 1st.
Okay.
I believe.
So, which leads then to where he's most likely going to land, which is one of two spots. We'll go with more likely of the two right now and talk Boston. From there, and he went to Harvard.
Okay.
However, his brother and dad live in Toronto.
His dad is a scout for the Leafs, and his dad's in on the talks when he's talking. Like,
so clearly, there's a little bit of pull there, and you know more about college hockey than I do.
I don't know much about Vesey apart from I know he's like been the lead. I think he's been the leading scorer for the last couple seasons on the team. He would be a very big get if the Leafs got him.
Yes.
The Preds tried to get him. Actually, I tweeted from our account the senior, because Jimmy Vesey wrote an article saying why they pushed hard to get him to play at the end of last season because the season ended early last year as well, and he declined it
because he wanted his senior year.
When he declined it, lots of people already, it sent like a ripple effect through, and everyone's like, "Is he going to do it?" Because
it's sort of the same.
That's
what
the same
could
happen with NCAA when you're not like good. I mean, not that he was already good enough to get drafted, but like when you're not like I'll use a bias, Kyle Connor. When you're not a Kyle Connor, you'll probably contemplate playing the 3 to 4 years.
Okay.
What does that say about the player though? When a team.
That's the thing.
It's not like the team didn't want him. It's not like a Blake Wheeler Phoenix Coyotes thing where the Coyotes said, "We don't want you." Because that's what happened to him. That's why he was a free agent. This is different. This is the team. Yep. They offered him everything, from what I've been told.
Yeah.
Top 6.
Yep.
Burning your contract, like all the and
you'll play in the playoffs because Nastro's trying to clinch one right now.
So what does this say about the player?
I'm so glad you brought this up because this is the other argument. Greg and I are excited he's going to go to a team we want him to go to. Not that we didn't want him to go to Preds, but now you're like, and character is a huge thing.
But honestly,
the situation is a little different. It's not the Justin Schultz where like he had no family or anything. He was just like, no, I'm going to play for the Ducks because they have like Cam Fowler, Sammy Vatanen, Hampus Lindholm. Like, where am I going to fit in? No way. And now look at him. Now look, he's terrible. He's a 7 defenseman on Pittsburgh.
Now here's the other thing too: is let's just take it back for a second. It's 2009. Dan gets drafted to, let's say, Columbus.
Fuck. Hold on.
You're super excited to play, and you've kept. I don't know who the GM in Columbus was in 2009 because it wasn't Kyle.
God damn it! I should know this.
But
John,
Bill, Bob,
Bill Davidson, John Davidson,
John Davidson. I think that's it. We'll go with him.
So you're going to school somewhere. We'll just say like Boston College. You're from Winnipeg though, and you're in constant talks with him about coming to play, going to camp or whatever. 2011 rolls around. Winnipeg Jets are announced a team. Say now they have a team. You don't go to camp, then you play out your senior year, then you become a free agent. Does that speak on your character that you'd rather go play for the Winnipeg Jets are interested in you your senior year? Does that speak to your character that you would rather go play for the hometown team, or does that speak to the fact that you just want to go play for your hometown team? Because that's the situation that Jimmy Vesey's in the sense that he's got the opportunity that he could play for the Boston Bruins, or he could go where his dad and brother are and play for Toronto. It's not like he's just saying, I don't want to play for Nashville. It's, I want to be close to home and family. We've seen it time and time again that these are important things for players. Travis Hamonic wants to come home.
Parise
went home. It's either going to... It's not that he doesn't want to play in Nashville, it's Nashville isn't home. I think you get comfortable.
Home is, it's not necessarily even just a city, it's a feeling. Home is a feeling, and when you're with family, you have the feeling of home, which is huge.
So I'm not necessarily saying it's bad on his character. He's a 22-year-old kid that wants to play where he feels comfortable.
Well, I honestly, being comfortable is the most important thing.
But
if a player's not comfortable, then...
And see, it's easy for us to talk in this situation right now because it hasn't happened to any of our teams.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, off the top of my head, it hasn't happened.
But you have to think, too, like, you look at the Jets, and a lot of their players, the reason they love it here is because it's close to home.
Yeah.
Yeah, Minnesota.
Stafford, Wheeler, Stewart, Bufflin, those guys are all very close to home.
Trouba's not too far.
Trouba's not too far. He talked to Tyler Myers did an interview on the weekend when he was in Buffalo, and he said he loves it. Winnipeg, he doesn't want to leave.
Yeah.
So like I guess to my thing, like, I mean it's tough. Like if you're a Nashville fan, you're pissed off.
Obviously.
If you're not, you can totally understand. The kid wants to go home, potentially go home, play in front of his, play with family.
Let's just take it to a real point here. Jack Roslovic, where is he from? I believe Michigan.
I think so.
He says after 4 years, fuck Winnipeg. I want to go play for Detroit. I want to be a Detroit Red Wing.
People were gonna
or a Buffalo Sabre.
People were making that argument about Copp and Trouba when we first drafted him because they were both from Michigan.
There is that argument saying that it could happen to our players. It could legitimately happen to the guys we draft, and it's a risk you take. And unfortunately, you don't want to burn a draft pick like that. You don't. And he's panned out very well. Like his stats, above point a game last 2 years.
Yeah.
57 points last year, or 58 points last year, and 46 points this year.
Well, I think if it's my pick, I think Toronto's done. Signed, sinker, done. He's going to the Leafs.
I would love to think that. I just have learned to not get... the signings I don't want them to do, they always seem to do like David Clarkson. The signings I want them to do, they just never seem to do them. So I don't want to get my hopes...
What was one that signing they seemed to...
that I wanted them to do?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Well, Clark MacArthur when they didn't re-sign him.
Okay, perfect. No, I wanted to see the basis of like where you're coming from because I'm
There's
obviously, like if you're like, oh, well, Drew Doughty, you're like, come on.
No, like ones like that, like Ben Scrivens, I wish they'd kept, didn't go after Bernier, and those kinds of things. Right?
Oh, okay.
So that's the basis that I'm saying. But I think if I'm a Nashville fan, Dan's right. I'm pissed off. If I'm a fan sitting on the outside, which we are, let's see this thing play out.
Yeah. I'm just speaking of...
And I don't think it speaks to character, but it might. He might just be an asshole who doesn't want to play for Nashville.
Because the hypothetical for Jets fans is if Jonathan Toews ever said to Chicago, I want to go back to Winnipeg. That's the hypothetical. So you have to think...
How great would we feel in Winnipeg?
If you're trying to look at it from Nashville fans' point of view, if you're a Jets fan, how do you feel? Steven Stamkos going to Toronto.
Yep.
How do you feel?
But you forgot, Dan, this is the year where Toronto signs everyone. Everyone. However, the other point...
I'm just saying those are the hypotheticals that I can think of.
Yeah. It is more, like, Cam and I touched on this last week, that NCAA seems to be a more attractive option for a lot of players. And it seems that there might be more of a push for NCAA to becoming a platform for players to play in. So with that happening, if there's more players going to the NCAA, this might happen more and more often. Which means they might change the rules. So... let's move into the Frozen Four. Who is in the Frozen Four this year?
It is Quinnipiac taking on Boston College, and Denver taking on the UND Fighting Hawks. Doesn't that hurt?
It actually hurts.
It's a hot load of shit.
After the UND Fighting Sioux, I'm being a rebel.
Well, now they call it...
defeated Michigan.
Yeah.
Wolverines in a 5-2 game.
5-2 because they scored...
Because the CCM line was in on both those goals.
I just want to say, for Kyle Connor, to keep this hype train going, every single time he touched the puck, he was on the ice. I'm like, fucking watch him. Watch him! Now he's right there! Like, every time, he was like, scoring chance. And when he stepped on the ice, it wasn't just the deep pairing that stepped on the ice. A whole fucking line stepped on the ice
to combat him,
because that's the only way they could stop him. And then when he was smothered, JT Compher was there too. It was just like, oh my god.
So
it was a nightmare. I was so glad UND won. I wouldn't have been upset if Michigan won because they're incredibly talented, but like, whoa.
Would you? Obviously. So your impression is Kyle Connor, NHL player.
There's nothing. There's absolutely nothing left for him. Oh, okay. I know he will not win a national championship. I would be willing to say, if I'm a betting man and I want my money back, he's winning the Hobey Baker. There's no one close. His line mates aren't winning it. He is the line. He's so good. He got 2 other guys nominated for best players in the country because he's that good. Like, that's first time in history that's ever happened. Like, that'd be like if we played on a line. And you'd be the best one. So Greg would be the best one. You're so good and you fluff up our numbers so good. Wow. That we, all 3 of us, get nominated for the Hart. All 3 of us. That's insane. Like, it's so good. Oh, he's here. It's over. Like,
okay.
What if he's not? What if there's no room in the top 6 for him?
That's fine. AHL. That is quite all right. Top line AHL because he's NCAA. The situation Kyle Connor's in is perfect.
AHL burns a year of his contract, though, right?
That's fine. I think depending on the age, we talked
starting if he goes next year, I believe it would. No, it would not burn a year of his contract.
No.
If he comes next year and plays in the AHL, it won't. It's only if you are once you are no longer WHL eligible.
So he can get the 9-10 games at the start, and if the Jets aren't feeling it,
yep, AHL, and then he can be first call up.
I don't think he'll be here this year because then they'd have to protect him in the expansion draft, and that's
no, they wouldn't because if he's in the AHL, well, they would obviously protect him.
If he's playing for the Jets this year,
yeah,
it burns a year of his contract.
Oh, this year you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, not next year.
If they do a comp and they sign him for a couple games,
they won't do that.
Then 2 years from now, when there's an expansion draft, they'd have to protect him, and I don't think they'll do that.
Well, no, if he came now, they wouldn't have to burn a year because there's only 6 games left.
Doesn't matter because
really?
Because comp burnt a year playing that one game last year.
Well, that's stupid.
Yeah,
kind of seems nonsense. To finish off,
I'm not clear on it.
Finish off the final. I was just gonna say, Final Four semifinals go Thursday, April 7th.
Oh yes,
in the Amalie Arena, which is in fact in Tampa Bay. The final goes April 9th. If you get a chance, tune in.
Watch it.
It will be on in Canada, either on NHL Network or on one of the TSNs.
TSN 2 most likely.
Yeah, it's worth your time. It's so good.
I watched. I caught some of the UND. Oh, who did North Dakota play? I think it was not Ferris State. That's not who I'm thinking of. But UND like UND played a game. It was before they played Michigan. It was a game before they played Michigan. And I watched some of that game, and they were just
as a team, awesome. They're really good. And Jets fans, another one. Wow, Tucker Pullman, one of the two of the top pairing for UND. If he turns out, he'll be on the Jets in the next 3 years. If it were my guess, he's a solid. I'm gonna say 4, 5, 6. Yeah,
he's another Mark Stewart type player. Yeah,
yeah. He goes in there, gets the job done.
Okay,
go ahead.
So, right now there's WHL playoffs. There's a team not doing so well. That would be the Brandon Wheat Kings. And who do the Brandon Wheat Kings have on their team?
Ivan the Conqueror Provorov.
So, chances that, let's say Brandon loses, they're done. Do the Flyers bring Provorov up to play?
Burn a year of his contract?
Yeah.
For playoffs?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Do you realistically think the Flyers have a chance to win the Cup this year if they make it?
They're the team I don't want to play apart from Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh has gone goddamn tear. Thank you, Pittsburgh.
Phil Kessel, not even third star of the week. Thank you. It only took
7
games.
points in 2 games.
It only took 80
games. Phil.
Oh yeah, by the way, everyone forgot who I was, so here I am again. Yeah, I'm back. But continue. If Flyers will potentially play Florida or Washington, or could they even sneak into the division? I guess they can. They're too far. Are they too far behind Pittsburgh right now?
Flyers?
Yeah.
No, they're not catching them.
Okay.
They're getting a wild card when they make, not if. Enough. Confidence.
Florida or Washington. I wouldn't want to play Washington. Do they have, legitimately, these are their first round matchups. Holtby or Luongo, do they have the goaltending to keep up to that?
Well, thank you for answering that question.
I asked it, not answering
Thank you for asking me that question. Today, while sitting on the bus, and a man beside me, older gentleman, falling asleep on my shoulder, and I'm just letting it happen. I'm okay. Perusing. I get a nice little update on the score app saying, "Hey, guess who's on a PTO with the Flyers again just till the end of the season because he's not qualified for playoffs." The ray of sunshine has returned. Ray Emery.
Oh my God!
Oh no! He's back. He will never go away. It never stops. I hate you, Ray Emery.
Okay.
I don't hate you.
But do they have the goaltending? Because realistically, Steve Mason has never won a playoff game.
I'm cheering.
Or he's one playoff one.
Yeah,
maybe.
I'm cheering for the Flyers, but they're probably not getting a first round matchup.
Okay, so
they're a team I don't want to play. I'm going to give it 6 games. Do you bring up Provorov for that? Give him
because he's most likely on that team next year, right?
If I'm Hextall, yeah, why not?
What about Konechny?
He's on the team.
What about Konechny?
Yeah,
same situation.
Both of them. You know what? If you get a chance, just do it. Konechny can help. Actually, both will help immensely right away. Just because Konechny will be thrown on the third line, so he'll be with Cousins and probably I don't know, Ryan White, I guess. One of them. Maybe.
Okay.
No, you don't want to break up the fourth line. He'll be on the third line with like Sam Gagner and
okay.
one of them. I'm drawing blank, of course, on the roster. I've watched like the last 5 games.
How did you feel last night? Just a quick question.
I thought they were going to crush him. I was disappointed.
Not with the Flyers, but
Okay.
with an old Flyers player playing for LA, scoring 2 goals.
Jeff Carter?
No. Vinny LeCava had 2 more goals last night for the LA
that's
Kings.
fine.
He's doing pretty
That's
well with
fine.
it.
Yeah, he actually is.
Hey, he did everyone a solid in that trade by accepting in terms of you have to retire at the end of the year. We're all fucked.
You know what? It's tradition. It's been 2 years. Kings are due.
Yeah, they're gonna
I
win.
know, Dan and I are texting about that.
If they win it
It's
again
happening.
this year,
Conspiracy.
It's done.
The East has to win it eventually.
All I'm going to say to you,
4th straight season.
there's only 3 teams you guys will play in the first round. Tampa, Florida, or Washington.
We got Tampa.
I think they could beat Tampa.
We got their number, but we won't
feel-
play Tampa because we
Because
have to beat the Penguins to do that.
Right
and we
now-
won't be able to. Like
No.
we have to be we have to be where the Penguins are right now to play Tampa.
No, you don't.
No, you don't. You have to be second. Tampa's first in the Atlantic right now. You'd have to be
Yeah.
second wild card.
Second
Like
wild
last wild card.
card. Yeah.
No, second.
Second.
Number
wild card.
1.
You are the last wild card right
Damn
now.
it.
You play
Yeah.
Washington. You have to catch the Islanders to play either Tampa or Florida. They're tied right now with 90.
Oh, I'd love to see it. We got Tampa.
Tampa
I'm
and
confident
Florida.
we got Tampa.
And then
Yeah.
Stamkos loses, realizes he'll never win in Tampa Bay, then goes to Toronto.
Up in the
Perfect
Vimco!
Perfect plan. There we go.
All right, just to cap off, or do you have anything else to say?
What is wrong in Vancouver?
Everything.
What isn't
They're
wrong
not
in
worth talking
Vancouver?
about.
They're not worth talking about?
Not right now.
Why?
No. That's a summertime
He's
discussion.
wasted too much breath on it.
That's a summertime discussion. There's too much broken. In 4 years, they've gone from a President's Cup to not to being qualified for first pick. Come on, are you shit? Like what? It's the ownership at this point. It's the ownership meddling. Look, they brought in new GM. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. Like everyone still plays the same. They brought in new coaching.
You have to
They've
keep in mind
changed
they
coaches.
shut down Edler,
No,
Verbata,
I'm
and
saying
someone
they were
else.
already
that's pretty
garbage
decent
before
for,
that.
like their whole year.
They were already bad before that.
I know.
It's the ownership. They get your hands out. Stop being the Jerry Jones of your
Like
of
Calgary-
the league. Like stop.
Calgary had the easiest first round playoff match last
Oh.
year.
How did you?
Ridiculous.
I don't understand
Ridiculous.
how with what you had a President's Trophy Stanley Cup finalist team
Think about it, though.
in contention for the first pick.
The Sedins
That's
are,
why I think it's a summertime talk. There's just so much we
Sedins
can
are over
go
the
into.
hill. They've lost so many support players. Their D core sucks.
And the fact that they've gone from having the potential to have 3 different NHL level goalies to Ryan Miller.
They could have at one
For
time.
absolutely nothing. For
Yeah.
Sean Matthias. Okay,
Who
not
they got rid
absolute-
of.
They had 2 of
Sean
the best goalies in the whole league on their team at the same time, and now they have neither.
And when that trade went through, you guys were together when that happened,
The
right?
Schneider
Corey
one,
Schneider.
We're at Country Fest.
When I heard that, when I was watching that on TV, I was like, what? How did... What? No one else had anything better. No one?
Well, they didn't
Then
want to
say
trade
no.
to Edmonton.
Yeah, all right, because Edmonton offered Eberle and their first. That's correct. Okay.
They said no to Edmonton. They didn't want to trade him within the division.
We're gonna go down this then.
Yeah.
That's another episode.
That's
so we
a
got
different
Friendship
time.
Land, we got Info Land, and now we have Abysmal
What's
Land.
Info Land?
What's friendship line? You
Info
never even
line-
explained it.
Dan,
Dan,
you didn't even listen.
what's Infoland?
Friendship Info Land, where you're gonna explain all the advanced stats to everyone.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Friendship Infoland.
Our 100th episode, Friendship Land. Greg is gonna set up a Skype, Google Hangout, which we've
Google
actually
Hangout.
received. I forgot to do fan emails. I'm taking responsibility for the last 2 weeks. We've received emails. So,
Wow.
So next
Let's
week,
do it right now.
No, we got to wrap it. We're way over time here.
We are not
Hour
over time.
3.
That's
Go
fine.
quick.
All right, fine.
So, Friendship Land, 100th episode, we're going to do a Google Hangout with our fans. We don't care how many there are in there.
And it's going to be a cool Q&A with everyone. And we're going to try and make it happen. And
We're gonna talk a little bit about
I don't know how
hockey.
Greg's going to do this. Like,
Nice.
I have no idea how we're going to get the audio or anything.
We don't have any fans.
We actually do. People emailed
Greg's
us like,
gonna go find them.
yeah. Okay, so we got one from Nick, March 15th. Hey,
Wow.
boys, I'm still alive.
That was
LOL.
2 weeks ago.
I know, I'm terrible. A couple questions for you. Nicknames in the NHL are usually kind of boring in recent years, i.e. Shifes, Wheels, Pavs. Now, if your name's long, you shorten it. If your name's short, you lengthen it. It's not often someone has a great nickname a la Finish Flash. If each of you played in the NHL, what would be some good nicknames for each of you? So, let's name each other. Dan, me, what would Greg be?
No.
What do you mean? Why you got no? Give us a suggestion. You can help yourself.
I don't know. My Twitter handle is my nickname, but
The peddler.
the peddler.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, it's usually based off your last name.
Pedals?
Pedals.
He's got
As
wheels.
long as it's not pedal.
Toe
As long as
drag.
it's not puddles.
Pedals.
I think it's puddles. Just 'cause of that. Puddles or toe drag. The toe
Toesy.
toesy.
Bushes.
Huh?
Bushes.
Bushes. Yeah, but that's all. That's
an inside joke.
That's an inside joke. So
Yeah.
I would say based off either peddler or like something with toe drag. I would say.
Yeah.
Dan bottled rage.
Bottled rage.
Bottled rage.
Yes.
Because Dan gets a look. We all play beer league together. When Dan gets a look, this one look in his eyes, he's sitting on the bench. I could literally look over and I'm like, Dan's going to take a slashing penalty the next shift. And if he doesn't take it, then it's a cross check.
One of my favorite-
I don't think I
One of
took
my-
one last year.
One of my favorite
What?
moves.
Yeah.
One of my
No,
favorite
really?
moments in beer league
Okay.
hockey was when Dan got suplexed by a guy, and, the guy got kicked out. And Dan just looked at him and said, "What the fuck did I do? I did nothing."
Or remember championship game.
That's a
And
lot.
we're all in the box in one shift. We all ended up in the box
Yeah.
all
I have a
together.
confession. I kind of deserved that. He went to pick up his glove and I whapped it out of the way.
See, there you go. So I don't know
Because they
Dan
scored the
would be-
game winner with like 12 seconds left because nobody on forward decided to back check.
And Dan
Shocker.
is specifically talking to me. Specific. I never back check. All right, who would I be? You can be mean about this too. That's fine.
I would call you the stay-at-home defenseman because you're the defenseman I want to stay at home.
Oh, based off my last name too. Home Holm. All
Haley?
right, Haley.
Wickenizer?
Yeah,
Stay at home. That's a good one.
home quiz.
Home Chris. All right. Okay. I dig.
What's the thing? Grocery
Home
stick?
is where your heart is.
Groceries. Now you're just naming signs. A grocery stick because I divide the
Yeah.
forwards and the D. I'm
Yeah,
okay
that's
with
a
that.
good one.
Home
Well, and then my other one's Mother Goose, of course.
All right. Yeah, that's a great one. All right. Cam, what's with the Ryan Murphy heat? Granted, I've been disappointed with his overall game, but was wondering why the intense negativity for the Smurf.
He hates his face. That is it. That is the only reason why he hates his
And he
face.
pooched
No,
Team Canada out of goals.
hates his face.
Is
That's
Nick
the only reason why.
the Hurricanes fan?
The Hartford Whalers fan.
Nick Bold isn't? Hold on. Who's our fans? We're drawing blank. Oh, yeah, no, Nick is the
Hurricanes
Hartford.
fan?
Yeah.
What the fuck, Justin Falk?
Yeah!
Yeah,
God damn it! We
Jesus!
wanted to trade the pizza!
Because-
What is he going to get 7 in the next 5
We
games?
He
blamed
scored
ourselves.
3 goals in the
We
last
blamed
4
ourselves.
months.
You know, when we brought it up, he
That's-
stopped.
Exactly.
He's got 3 goals.
We
since
should have
then.
stopped talking.
When did we
about
bring it up? Like Christmas?
Dude,
Yeah.
yeah, but since
Before.
then,
He's got 3 goals since then.
it was us.
it was our fault.
Fuck.
We are sorry, Carolina Hurricane fan.
It's his face. There's a few players I just can't stand based off their face. Him,
He's one.
Taylor Hall, Drew Doughty, Justin Williams. Why? I don't know. I just do not like
Their
these players.
faces.
Their faces. All right. Also, what were these treats you get at games? Ice caps? We have Dippin' Dots at the AHL Hartford Wolfpack games. They're like a cup of ice cream that's in little tiny ball form. They're delicious.
Those
An
are
ice-
delicious.
An ice cap is a frappuccino without the whipped cream.
There
you
you
go.
go. But a frozen one.
A frappuccino.
Iced
is-
cap-
A
Frappuccino.
frappuccino is the same thing as an ice cap.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
See, I don't know what a frappuccino is.
Yeah, no.
'cause
It's a
Starbucks.
frappuccino without the
Delicious.
whipped cream made at Tim Hortons. And he also says, keep up the good work, Nick and CT. Well, thank you very much, Nick. All right, let's go to the other podcasts or emails that I haven't checked in quite a while.
How many?
There's 2 more, actually. We have like 5, though. All right, Jordy Longbottom says, that idea is sick, boys. Keep up the great work. A little story. Nolan Patrick and I went to the same hockey camp, and I caught a ride home with him. Or I caught a ride home with my friend. His dad and Nolan was also there, and he played this junior hockey song called "Living the Dream" by Chucky Slick, and he called it 5 times over because he loved, or he played it 5 times over because he loved the song so much. Sent from my iPhone. Thanks, Jordan. Jordy, that's awesome. And new activity expands future. Oh no, wait, I'll just go off this one because I already have the picture of the other one. All right, dear Last Man In podcast. When watching your guys' podcast on expansion, I believe Seattle should get a team to have a rivalry with the Canucks. And as I was thinking, if they have an expansion, fans should vote, but it means a little more than Gary's ruling. And every year they should have a vote from the GMs on if they should expand or move teams. Sincerely, Robbie from Spokane. Guys, we're getting big. We're big deals.
Hi,
And
Robbie from Spokane.
I believe Robbie is the Cognation.
Oh,
Is it
okay.
not?
I don't know.
I should know this.
You should know.
Well, I
this.
have pictures on my phone.
Spokane's close to Washington. It's in Washington.
Okay, nonetheless. Thank you for your emails, fans of ours.
Yeah,
It means a lot to us.
We'll comment on the rest of them, like opening next podcast. I
Yes.
promise, because there's like
To that
4
last
more
one,
to go.
To that
so-
last one, though, I think the hockey team in Seattle would actually do well.
Oh, yeah, it'd be great.
I do.
Quick story. I remember when I was in Seattle last year, and we did a tour of where the Seahawks play. I can't think of the stadium right now.
Cheater Roof Stadium,
American Airlines? No.
Century Link.
CenturyLinks.
Yeah.
Investors
person-
Group field on steroids.
Our tour guide said, well, we're a huge sports city. We have football and baseball, and unfortunately we lost the... what was their team?
Supersonics, because the
Supersonics.
owner was corrupt.
Because the owner was being a douche.
Yeah.
And apparently they're building a new stadium there that's going to be basketball and hockey. And she said that they love hockey there too. So I would love to see Seattle have a hockey team. Plus they'd have a lot of bordering Canadians go to that team, especially if they're good. They'd rather go watch that than go watch Vancouver.
Yeah, and Vancouver's stadium is in the weirdest place.
It's odd.
And
There's nowhere to park.
No, it's just,
Have
here's
you been
highway, here's the GM.
Have you
No,
been
it's
to
like
the
it's,
MTS?
here's
No, no.
highway, here's kind of downtown, and the ocean.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
MTS, but like
Winnipeg's arena is terrible for parking.
No, but there's underground.
It's manageable.
Yeah,
It's manageable. Like, have you seen? You've been to Vancouver, right? Did you?
Yeah, I didn't drive by.
Oh damn it!
the
It's
rink.
bad.
It's ridiculous.
I was
It's
close
like-
though.
Oh, it's.
I think it's meant for like you have to walk to it. Like you walk up to it. So
Well, I mean, you can always walk there. I guess it never gets that cold, but like.
So-
Or you can always. Just
if you have lasted this long and you want to email us and have your emails read on the next podcast by Cameron.
Cameron and Dan, send us questions. We'll
Oh
ask
yeah, I
them.
forgot I'm not here.
Yeah, we'll call you in correspondence. We're not doing it on
if
Wednesday.
you email
Let's
us
do it on
now, we will.
Tuesday.
We'll do it on Tuesday and try and get you in. Or you're getting in contact either way.
Well, I will be playing hockey.
We'll find out when you're playing and then we'll
Yeah.
work around that. If
Remember, I am Eastern time, so that'll be an hour before you guys.
Okay.
So like if I have a hockey game at
We're
6,
gonna make it happen, so it
I'll be
doesn't matter.
available.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll
Perfect.
make it work. Just even if it's for
Yeah,
2 minutes.
so email us.
Email us at lastmaninpc@gmail.com. You can always tweet at us at lastmaninpc. Also, check us out on iTunes and YouTube. However you like to take your podcast, if you want to take them on the go, check us out on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast from. You get them from Podbean, right? Is that where you get your
Podomatic.
Podbean.
No, where do you listen yours?
Pocket Casts.
Pocket Casts.
It is $3.99 on the Google Play Store.
And
It
the
is
people
worth
who
it
own Pocket Casts, we are looking to be accepting sponsorships. So
for Pocket Cast.
for Pocket Cast, and
Excellent.
we'll give you shout outs every episode.
We'll offer our friendship.
And Pizza Hotline 222-2222. Great pizza at a great price.
That is
You
it.
just
That's
gave
a
them a
plug.
free plug.
Nope, we're paid for that one. We're not paid for that one.
We've paid for many
I think we
pizzas.
paid for that one.
We
Yeah.
paid for that one. We paid.
All right. Well, thank you very much. See you guys later. Come on, everybody. Let's say goodbye together. 3, 2, 1.
Bah.
Bye.